How's you going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampy's Workshop. Alright, you're building a deck, right? You got your ledger board mounted to the building. You got your posts all set nice and plumb and square. You put your rim joists all the way around. Now it's time to fill in the floor joists around to put your deck boards on. So there's lots of ways to do that, but I'm going to show you one way to do it. Let's go have a look. So what we're up to this morning is we're going to put the layout to put our joists in here in the field of the deck. I'm going to have a piece of decking go on this way and then put my field in at right angles to that. The post is on the inside of the rim joists. Hard for you to see that. They've got the camera set up. But anyway, all that is to say I have to come back 3.5 inches from the inside of that joist before I can start my first joist in here, so that I'll have support on the end of these field boards. So what I need to do is come in 1.5 inches for this, and then 3.5 for the 4x4, and then that's where my first joist will be. So 1.5 inches and 3.5 is about 5 inches. So my first joist will go there, and then I'll set my joist 16 inches on center. So there's 16 plus the 5 is 21. And then 32 and 5 is 37, right there, okay? So that's where my joists are going to go. So then I take my speed square, and I like to draw the vertical line here on the inside. That way I can ensure that when I put my joists in I can get them perpendicular. And then what I have is I have some joist hangers. I'm going to hang the joists on the inside on this ledger, but I'll nail them through the end on the other side. So now I have to set my joist hangers here. I'm not sure if you know it or not, but joist hangers take special nails. I'm so sweet that bee was hanging around me. The joist hanger nails, they're just 1.5 inches, but they're a special hardened nail. They have a bigger head on them. They're usually only 1.5 inches long because you're usually driving joists into 1.5 inch like studs or rafters or joists or whatever. So you don't want them to go right through. So special nails. Good to know. You don't, I guess you don't need to use those. It's just better to use them. Now when I'm locating my joist hangers, what I want to do is I want to set them here so that one side is plumb with the line or parallel with the line that I set on the ledger. I want the bottom of it to be flush with the bottom of the ledger board. And then when I set my joist I can pull the other side up to make it tight around it. Okay, I'm ready to go get some joists and set them in place. Now, the joists I bought at the store, they were 10 footers. This rim joist out here is 10 feet long, but I set it right next to the building, so it's the same in the front and the back. So the joists I'm going to run here in the field are going to be 10 feet less 3 inches because of the 1.5 inch size here. So that should be 9 foot 9, right? So I've cut my joists here the proper length, I hope, anyway. So now I have to mark where those joists are going to be located on this front rim joist. And since I started on the right hand corner over there, I must start the same on this side. So I start here, and add 3.5 becomes 5, so that's pretty straightforward. It's where it should be, right on this 4x4. So now 16 and 5, 21. I never thought of this beforehand, but when I was locating this post, I wanted to have a 4-foot wide stairway here. This stair is going to come out here, so I wanted to have 4 foot wide. So I just set this for 4 feet. Just lucked out that this is going to, the joist is going to butt right against this 4x4. So thank my lucky stars for that one. It was not predetermined, that's for sure. All right, now the next step. These are all my joists. I need to find the crown side of them. Don't forget, you should always put the crown side up. So I'm just going to go through them all now, just have a quick look. And mark the crowns. Okay, I'm going to climb under there now and start setting these joists. Crown side up. So I marked out where these joists go, but I didn't mark them on the inside. So I need my square. Alright, now this joist is not flush with the top here, so we have to make that flush. Crown side up. Crown side up. Oh, there it is, crown side up. Crown side up. So now what I need to do is go in, button up all the ends of those joist hangers, and then I'm going to toenail them across that center carrying beam, just to keep them from wobbling like this. So here's the spacer I made. I just had an old hunk of landscape tie kicking around. It's 14.5, so it should fit in there good. Now I can nail in here and nail against the one I've already nailed, so it shouldn't move it, make a bow in it. So I'm just going to toenail this in here. Alright, so how do you put joists in your deck? That's one way. That's the way we did it here anyway. So I'm just going to show you a close-up of these joist hangers so you'll see the nailing pattern. You'll see I've got a nail here, and then that holds, same on the other side, that holds the joist to the ledger, and then a toenail here and a toenail here which holds the joist to the joist hanger. It doesn't look like much, but man oh man, they're solid. And there's a nice good metal lip under here to hold them. There's just no way that they're going to come loose. That's a great way to connect joists. And in fact, it's so good they recommend it in the building code. Okay, so that's all the joists in place. So there we go, we put some joists on our deck. Kind of straightforward. A couple of key points though is make sure if you're working with pressure treated or any kind of wood that's going to go outside, pressure treated probably. If you make some cuts, put end coat or some sort of preservative on it to keep the water out so that your pressure treated wood doesn't rot, because you know, you spend a lot for pressure treated wood, may as well take care of it and make sure that it stays rot resistant. Not rot proof, but rot resistant. The other thing is when you're putting joists in or like things like that, make sure you look for a crown. Put the crown up so that over time, as the wood settles and the deck settles, it'll come more flat because you don't want it to sag. So anyway, a couple little things like that. Putting the joists in, not a really big job, but if you're building a deck, you got to put them in, and we just did. So hope you liked it. Click like if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe. Looking forward to those subscriptions, and I'm also looking forward to comments, so add a comment or two. Appreciate it. Talk to you.